One of those shows, my friend. One of those shows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I tried. I tried for about 45 minutes. In
I
fact.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you tried as hard as you possibly could.
Correct. Correct.
Look at all the people we have in chat.
Oh, it's amazing.
We have two that I know about.
Oh, fantastic. Maybe I should say. I should probably say.
Two.
What did I say?
One, two.
Should do that. 1, 2. Am I one of the two?
You might be. You might be three. If
Or-
there's two, then there's three. If you're in,
Oh, jeez. Totally 3.
totally three.
Totally 3.
Totally three.
Totally.
Okay, so we'll probably hear a little bit from Max in the background. Is that my understanding?
Yes. Yes.
Since
Somebody has a little fever. One of those. So yes. Yes. Yes.
Because to remind our foreign audience in Belgium, you're in the
Yes.
middle of your winter almost.
Correct. And there's a few things going around that don't agree with small children.
Right.
So, though you wouldn't know it at the moment, he's totally perfectly happy. Except when he needs to do anything that he doesn't want to do. And then he's not so happy at the moment. Little
Right.
raging fever. It's like it's nice. It's kind of like having a little radiator heater. You just sit it on your lap and it warms you up. It's great during winter.
Oh, okay.
He's not as impressed though with his bright red cheeks, which I think are actually radioactive because they sort of give off a light and a heat at the same time. It's weird.
Poor little guy.
So he's getting hit with all the drugs. Oh look, he's on the case.
Dun, dun, dun,
Hi
dun.
Max. What
Is
are
he
you doing?
Is he driving yet?
Getting very close to driving.
Mm.
Are you gonna wave? I'm gonna wave. Hi.
Oh, there
Hi.
he is.
Thanks for contributing. It's that kind of day. Mm-hmm.
Oh, poor guy.
Yep. Yep.
He's just
Yep.
all ruffled up.
It's that kind of day.
Just all ruffled up. Poor thing. Okay.
Troubles.
Leslie would like to know.
So sad. So sad.
Leslie would like to know how old Max is now.
16 months.
16 months.
1 6.
Okay.
16. Definitely 16 months. Yes.
Alrighty.
A few.
I have to warn you, apparently the Prometheus, one of our contributors at the Mad Adventure Society, his child is now 12, even though he was only born this summer.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
The kid will be driving very soon indeed, possibly taking his PhD in physics by next week. Who knows? Who knows? Overly proud papa, I think, is probably where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So other than that, how have you been, sir?
Busy. Busy as always, but a fun little thing that my work decided was going to be a thing. I don't know if you've heard of this. Some of you might have heard of this because apparently it's international.
Oh,
Is the Global Corporate Challenge, the GCC. And the GCC is all about getting in your 10,000 steps per day.
oh, I see.
Yeah, see how it is? So I got volunteered for that apparently, so I'm
Wait.
currently doing
Wait,
that.
time out. What do you mean
Yeah.
you got volunteered for that?
Yeah. It's sort of like, so is everyone going to do it? And everyone's like, yeah, I guess. And it's like, all right, so everyone's doing it. Okay.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
It wasn't just you were picked randomly to represent the entire
no.
corporation.
Nope.
Okay.
Everybody. So yeah, that's something I'm currently participating in.
Chat says you were voluntold.
I was absolutely voluntold. So, and look, 10,000 steps. It just doesn't happen by itself, I have to say.
No, you can't just send out your shoes to do it on their own.
No, no. And look, if Max was running around, I would totally cheat and just stick that on him, and it'd be 20,000 steps before lunch for sure. Because once they're mobile, they're mobile.
Oh, they actually gave you a little pedometer thing to make you keep track of the whole.
Oh yes.
Oh, Jesus!
Oh yes. Oh
You
yes.
are in so much trouble.
But I found the amazing loophole, which only works for me because I actually like swimming. One
Right.
kilometer of swimming is equal to nearly 5,000 steps.
Well,
And
get you and your
that's actually
board.
not that hard to do. So,
Get you and your board and head to the beach.
yep.
Although it
pretty
might be a
much.
little cold right now, right? So,
I go to an indoor pool.
oh,
So
an indoor
we
pool.
go-
All right. Well,
Indoor
there you
pool.
go. There you go. That's perfect.
But I found out a fun fact because I haven't been swimming in a while, and I sort of just said, "All right, fine, I'll just go back to doing that again." It's been long enough that now I can float on the water without contributing any effort. Whereas previously, when I was much younger, I could not. I always sunk like a stone.
Oh,
And it
right.
occurred to me,
Because you're eating better
The
now.
old man fat has kicked in,
There you
and
go.
I'm now
You're eating better.
buoyant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm so happy about it because the only thing I wanted to be able to do in the pool when I was younger was just float with the arms back doing nothing, and I could never do it because I had no fat. And now
Right.
I just lie back and I'm like, I don't sink. It's great. I just lie here. It's brilliant. So I'm happy.
Awesome.
I have reached a sufficient level of buoyancy.
Now, I seem to remember you telling me at one point that everybody in Australia was required to learn how to swim. Is that correct?
It's not legally binding, shall we say, but it is heavily encouraged.
And I assume that's because every Australian has a deep, abiding fear of the entire continent eventually falling into the ocean.
Probably something to do with that, or something for the fact that as large a country as it is still an island, and probably 90% of the population live within an hour of water that could drown them,
Right.
or less.
Like I said.
So if you live inland, there are plenty of creeks that'll just murder your ass for looking at them.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
So that's fine. But yes, Max is already he's already on the swimming lessons.
Well, you had him
He's-
on like day 2, you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. He came out and he was in enough water to drown him, and he was fine and he loved it. So there you go.
There you go.
There you go. No lag. That's not possible. No, you clearly must be looking into something. He sort of he hates being on his back. He doesn't really float yet. I'm sure he could, but he just doesn't like being on his back. He likes being on his front. And you can't float on your front because you drown. So there you go.
That's not entirely true.
If you're not moving, you drown.
The dead man's float is well known for being face down.
Sure. Sure, it's very floaty. Right
I mean,
to the point.
you don't want to breathe while you're doing it, but you don't immediately drown.
Sure. See, this is why you should always put ranks into swims. I'm just saying. It's just a thing you should do. There we go, bringing it back.
But nobody ever goes in the water in an RPG. Not even on the sea adventures do they go into the water in an RPG.
They're on a boat.
That's
The
right.
whole time.
The boat is inviolate. It will
Yep.
always be a boat. Nothing will ever happen to the boat. Everybody will be happy on the boat.
Correct. You're about to fall off the boat. Make a skill check. Failed. I don't want to deal with swimming. Make another skill check.
Right. Okay.
Yes, that's the thing.
So
Yes.
it's been a while since a few weeks since our last one of these.
It has. It has indeed.
And we're calling this particular episode a sober reconsideration. Because I feel I should do some follow-up on some of the activities in the last one of these, the show 4.
Ah, right.
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 You may recall I was enjoying
With you.
some Applejack, right?
You were.
Yes. That is now all gone.
Shattered.
You may recall I had two
Wow.
very small glasses, right? Had the two little glasses, glasses. That was it. Had it during the course of our episode, right?
Yes.
Nothing
I
extra.
recall.
Nothing. 3 hours after we were done, it was still trying to hit me over the head. I'm not kidding you, man. I went nowhere and did nothing after we were done for 3 hours. It was so bad. I went to retire upon my resting spot and essentially passed out
Nice. A little
for a
nap
couple
nap.
hours.
So what you're telling me is that your liver just went, this alcohol thing that you've just done, yeah, I'm not going to deal, I'm just going to postpone dealing with that shit for
Right.
another 4 hours.
Right.
I'll let you know when I'm ready to do, just circulate it for a while. Just send it on the
but
road.
it was like we finished the episode and it just kept climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing and 3 hours later I went away and then
It's
eventually
like,
it went
I
away
can feel everything above this point.
and feel it really well. So today, this is not we are not a paid here. I'll just there. I'm enjoying. It's essentially sparkly water, right?
I love the old carbonated water.
Sparkling water beverage, wild cherry.
It's a little zing in what is otherwise just plain water. Yes.
Pretty much. It has the advantage of not having any fat, sodium, carbohydrates, protein, or calories at all.
To which many people would say, what's the point?
It tastes like wild cherry.
Well, that's all that matters. Just drink that till the cows come home. No, I don't like cherry. I've never been a fan of cherry, I have to say.
I'm not either, but this is all that was left in the fridge because tomorrow is grocery shopping day. Normally, I'm much more a pomegranate, cranberry,
More citrus.
blueberry kind of thing,
That acidity, that nice little citrus acidity.
A
that's
little
what
bit,
I like.
a little bit, not too much
Yes.
though. Anyway, I'm not gonna do anything fancy on the streams anymore in terms of adult beverages.
Oh, okay.
It will be beer or nothing.
Right.
I don't need that. And that's I probably should not have had 2 glasses. I was able to get through the rest of the bottle by mixing it in various ways with various other things, and that was fine.
Diluting it down.
But
Nice.
straight is a no-no. Straight is a no-no.
Okay,
Don't do that. That is my recommendation.
It tasted pretty good though, didn't it?
It did. It was delightfully tasty. I shall miss it.
Just, just one glass next time. Slowly.
Sure, why not?
A slow burn glass. There you go.
Yeah. And I do have to be kind of careful because, I am diabetic anyway, so, it's...
That's a made up disease. Don't watch no kids, it's really not.
Yeah, don't listen to him. He doesn't know anything. Listen not to that boy over there.
That's right. Diabetes is a life choice. That is just such a lie. That is the biggest lie.
No. Anyway, so yeah, that's at least half of our thing. So have you played any games of any sort?
I've played. What have I played? I played the new Magicka 2 for all of 10 minutes with a friend, and just went nope, and he went nope, and we just deleted it, and it was great. Then we played some Rampage Nights, which is just to ensure that our Twitch hasn't degraded to the point that we're considered old men. We're currently just mostly old men. We've got enough Twitch to survive most of that game, which is nice.
Right.
So we played that for a bit. That's your classic, side scroll, not really side scrolling, side and up, 2D-ish sort of thing. Anyway. And then I played a little bit of Heroes of the Storm, the old Blizzard's attempt at a MOBA.
Right.
And that's not terrible. I've played worse versions of that. But the one thing I did like about that particular game is that there's a character in there that I haven't actually played yet. I just really like the idea of. That's a two-headed ogre that you can only play with a friend. And he plays the other head. And I was like, it's an amazing idea. I actually now want to play an RPG where I play a two-headed ogre and someone else plays the other head.
No, you don't. No.
Yes, I do.
I've seen
that
game. That does not work.
It does. It does.
No, it does not.
You need to find the right kind of person.
It does not.
So yes. So that was my
the only way I can see that working is if like you've got people who are very inconsistent in their attendance at an RPG game.
So that one head's asleep half the time. I see.
Put them in an Eton.
And just punch the other head to wake it up occasionally. So
there you go. See, so they just alternate weeks. Weeks. You've got a consistent character, but you don't have consistent players.
That's actually a brilliant idea for keeping a group together. So say you've got like 10 people, but they're all just airy-fairy and very inconsistent. Everyone plays two-headed Ettins. Problem solved.
There you go.
I love this plan.
See?
I love this plan.
Mind blown. Anyway,
and then everyone turns up in the same week, and what you would expect to happen when 5 Ettins get into a room is just a bloodbath. Perfect. I love this game already. We should make this happen.
There you go. See? That's why they pay me the big bucks.
It's true. It's true.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if you can see it. I got a new chair. New fancy chair.
Oh, looks a bit comfortable.
It is a bit comfortable. It is. It's one of them. It's one of them racing style gaming chairs. You know. It's like a bucket seat out of the car.
Oh yes, I know them well.
There you go. In the traditional, the traditional colors.
Oh, of course.
Makes
it go faster.
Got to stay on theme.
It's because orange is only one step away from red. It's true.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. Okay,
like
so
it.
I did something on Steam I have never, ever, ever done before.
Yes, you did.
I returned a game.
Shock horror. And they actually gave you your money back?
Oh, yes, because I did it within the 2-hour window.
Now, is it 2 hours from installation or 2 hours?
2 hours playtime. 2 hours playtime.
2 hours playtime. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, I should get my magic money back. Ooh.
Would you like to know what game it was that fell afoul of my sensibilities?
Please do enlighten me.
Elite Dangerous.
Wow. Okay then. So you can direct all your hate mail to fiddleback@gmail.com.
See, I'm glad that whole section there was just entirely messed up by your poor bandwidth.
Yeah, I did that intentionally.
I didn't get through the tutorial because it's incredibly fiddly and incredibly boring, and all the tutorial combats were just my ship and the other ship just circling and circling and circling and circling and circling and circling and waiting. There's a tutorial combat with like 2 ships, 2 opposing ships. Tutorial combat.
Yep.
That took me an hour of the 2 hours.
That's disappointing. Disappointing, sir.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
I mean, I really kind of lost my cookies when I discovered in this advanced ship, okay, in which the computer is giving you all sorts of assistance and pointing at things and telling you where they are and all that and guiding you to the next waypoint and helping you through the jump gates and
of course
plotting your course and all this other stuff. I still had to tell it to put down and take up the landing gear.
But, 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 but you're in space where there is zero reason that you need a landing gear.
Oh, no, 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 no. You have to go into the space station and land. And then, once having done that, you then have to take off again and leave.
Right. I see.
And I don't know why. In this super advanced space, and this is more than just a super, whatever. All space games are kind of guilty of this, basically.
Yes.
Why can it not figure out that if I'm within, say, 3 feet of the ground, I might want some landing gear?
Almost as if it should be a safety feature. Hey, you're about to hit a solid surface. Why don't we deploy this thing that will stop you scraping the bottom of your nicely painted ship?
I like it.
Just a thought. Just a thought. Although maybe, like most space games, perhaps that's a future modification that you can make to your ship for 300,000 credits. The auto dock. That's a thing, right? Pretty sure it's a thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so Elite Dangerous, not my thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It puts me in doubt of any future enjoyment I might have of things like, oh God, I don't know, what's that one that's like $800 billion worth of funding and still hasn't come out? Oh yeah, Star Citizen. How many years? How many years, Sammy? How many years have you been invested in it?
I want to say 4. Is 4? I'm not sure. It feels like it's been a long time.
It has been a long time.
A really long, like 4, 5, 3, 4, 3. I've played it a couple of times. It's well, I say play it. I've played I guess what you could call a demo, sort of. I guess. I was in a ship, and I had some missiles, and I had a gun, and I blew up some shit, and things exploded, and then I threw out a bunch of missiles, and more things exploded, and then I got murdered, and I was... Actually, no, I didn't get murdered. I ran into an asteroid and exploded, and then came back, and I was like, okay, sweet. I'll catch you in a year.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's in space. It's got spaceships.
There's like this. There seems like in these space games where you're piloting your own ship and whatnot. It seems it seems like there's a pretty huge divide between pure simulation.
Yes.
And pure arcade.
Look, I think the bigger issue is no one has come up with the formula yet on making the epic solo or even group space sim adventuring thing that just draws everyone in and everyone has a great time and everyone wants to play it because it's just fun. They're either too serious or they're so arcadey that you might as well be playing Wings of Fury or something. Just, I don't know. Like, everyone's just got back off the little one. What was that game called? Oh yes, No Man's Sky. Yes, that was going to be the next be-all and end-all, universe-spanning. Everyone's going to play this for 1 million hours. It's going to be great.
It is great, but nobody seems to recognize that.
No, look, it's a casual game.
It is. It's very casual.
I don't know if they intended it to be so casual.
I think they did.
It's a casual game. Yeah. In fact, I just...
And now you've broken the promise that I made last show, which was to not talk about No Man's Sky anymore.
But that's all right, because you don't have to talk about it. I'm going to talk about a game I haven't played.
Over there.
I watched a show on our national broadcast network called Good Game, where they discussed somebody that had left their ship in No Man's Sky and started walking. and continued to walk into a straight line until they had circumferenced the entire planet and wrapped all the way around and come back and found their ship again. And it took them like 48 hours to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So... and the comments that the guy had was like, I'll miss this planet and I hope I never see it again. Ever. Ever. Yeah, not really something you'd do twice.
No.
Not something you'd do twice. No.
Why you would even want to do it once, I don't know. I mean, I suppose you want, if you think you want to be thorough and get everything, but you don't need to do that much to...
I really hope
do
he
that.
got an achievement for proving the world was not flat, because honestly, he deserved something.
I don't know.
There you go.
So anyway, that was. I did play a game I thoroughly enjoyed, which was called Enslaved: Odyssey to the West.
Oh yes. Haven't heard of this one.
It's made by a little studio. I can't remember exactly what their name is, but if you had an Xbox. You might have come across a little party game called Kung Fu Panic.
Ooh. I don't have an Xbox, but I have actually seen this game before from memory. Yeah.
They're little, little kung fu guys.
Yeah,
They're making a movie, and each stage is a new scene in the movie. And you start out, you get four guys, you get four people together, you get them up on screen and fighting and punching and kicking and, all kinds of stuff. It's a really, really, really fun game.
Yes, I'm with you.
I enjoyed it. People complained about it, but I enjoyed it. They complained about it for reasons that had nothing to do with it being a good or a bad game. Some people were offended by a couple of what might be termed stereotypes. Anyway,
I love stereotypes. Stereotypes are hilarious.
the game is called Kung Fu Panic. You can figure out what stereotype they were having trouble with. Anyway,
I don't know what you're talking about on slides.
it was a great game. I enjoyed playing it, and I went to look it up the other day just to see, what had happened to it, if there were any sequels or anything, just to read up on it. I discovered the studio that made that game, after a name change or two, is the same studio that made Heavenly Sword.
Yes.
DMC Devil May Cry, the sort of reboot to the series.
Yes.
And this game Enslaved: Odyssey to the West. And I thought, well, that's interesting.
Sure.
Wonder if any of these games are any good, not having played any of them myself. So I thought, well, I'll check. Randomly picked Odyssey to the West. It's a great game. Good game.
Great game.
Good. A lot of fun. Good story. Well made. I enjoyed it. Andy Serkis is in it. In fact, Andy Serkis, I think, is part owner of the company because he's in like 3 of their games.
Interesting.
He did the mocap for the main character. He's also not just the mocap, he's the voice of the main character and also the voice of the main bad guy. And it's I don't want to spoil anything, but when you get to the end of the game, you will know that, oh, yes, Andy Serkis had a very large part in this game. But I enjoyed the heck out of it. I had a lot of fun. It's kind of a platformy fighty thing.
Yep.
You do some platform jumping, but it's in like the, I'm going to get this wrong, but it's in one of them like Crisis Engine things or
right. Yes. CryEngine, it's the something. They've got so many.
CryEngine or whatever the other big one is they use so many times that it's almost ridiculous. Exactly, that one.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one exactly.
Isn't that the one they made Doom on? Or the other thing? There's I don't know.
Right.
I'm not up with the times, man.
Insignificant in comparison. Anyway, it's built on that.
Yeah.
There's lots of jumping around and things to find and bosses to fight and, other things. It's a very cool game. I like the story a lot. Had a lot of fun. I would recommend if you can find it. And
Unreal.
it's on
There you go.
yeah,
Eric's on the
Unreal.
board.
That's what it is. It's Unreal.
That was the...
Anyway, I recommend if you get it on Steam or wherever you can get it, give it a shot. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed the heck out of it. In fact, it was about the third or fourth thing which had drawn on that whole Journey to the West mythology kind of thing.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
talking about here? Monkey. I mean, Dragon Ball is basically Journey to the West. Goku is Monkey and all this other stuff. You got there were a couple of videos, there were movies that I had watched on Netflix while I was laid up that were, pulling from that.
Nice.
Those were kind of good, and I enjoyed them. So I thought I would get the actual the book. So you got Monkey. This is the Arthur Wiley translation. Arthur Wiley translation.
Yes.
Okay. It's about 30 chapters out of the 100 or so chapters of the whole Journey to the West story.
Okay.
Okay. And Monkey is essentially the main character. So there's a lot of stuff on him, and it's one of those books. Hang on. It's one of those books you, at least for me, one of those books you read and then you tick the little box that says I read that, and then you put it down.
Right.
Okay.
One of those books.
It's interesting just for the
sake of the read, almost.
Yeah, the sake of the read, but it's not a book that I think I'm going to go, oh my god, I haven't read Monkey in like 2 years. I need to pick that up and read it again.
Do you actually have any books that you like literally on the list of I have to read this once a year or once every 2 years because it is just that good? I need to remind myself how amazing it was that I always go back to and read it.
Oh, you poor child. Excuse me, I don't mean to be coughing right in that. Yes. Basically every Terry Pratchett book.
I knew you were going to say that.
But particularly at Christmas time, Hogfather.
Yes.
It's one of those things. You need that reminder every so often about what it's all about, really. And that's like a yearly reread for me.
Didn't they make that into a movie as well?
Yes, yes they did. Yes, they did. Your ITVs or your whatevers might have done such a thing.
Yes.
They actually made 2 or 3 of them into full-blown movies and a couple of animated ones. And there's a TV series coming.
They were actually reasonably directed and
Right. There's supposedly a full-fledged TV series coming about the City Watch.
Oh.
But I don't have a whole lot of details on that. Leslie will now presume to fill up the chat with details on how that's all going. But the point being...
That's why she's here.
Yeah. The point being... Hogfather I have to read about once a year. And I pretty regularly... Yeah. I pretty regularly go through all the Pratchett books, throughout the course of a year and a half or so. I'll have read all of them again.
Nice.
Nice. But there's other stuff too. Like I do a fairly regular reread of things like Tarzan and John Carter, The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. Those get reread fairly regularly.
The classics. few classics.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. It's just I got a bunch of things that I reread, and then I stick new stuff in between them. So I can.
Just in case some of the new stuff is better than the old stuff, and invariably you find, nope, it's not.
Yeah. But to return to this, basically what you have, it's a series of Buddhist fairy tales.
Yes.
Or if you prefer, if you don't like that, instructional stories.
Okay.
Okay? And it's presented a lot like fairy tales for children. Except that the moral lessons are pretty ambiguous. Basically, it amounts to don't misbehave or a superpowered godlike monkey will come and beat you up.
Makes sense. And I feel like there should be a whole religion based just around that.
End of story. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I read that. That was okay. All right, whatever. It's what it is. I also went back. You remember I told you a couple months ago about Donut and When It's a Jar and all that. Tom Holt, right?
Yes. Tom,
Well,
yes.
I enjoyed that series enough that I went back to the first of his books, and I got the first 3 he wrote. I don't have all 3 of them here, but the one I have here right now is Expecting Someone Taller. Okay? This is... and a number of his books are tied to things like this. This is sort of the... how do I explain this? It's not the Ring of the Nibelung, but it's related to that. And the ring is in here, but this is not a retelling of that story.
Okay.
All right? But it takes all the characters from that story and puts them in a new situation. And it starts with a guy who runs over a badger.
As you do.
Right, who turns out to be Ingolf, the last of the giants.
Problematic.
Yes. So
Problematic.
So yes, that is a thing. And I'm that far through it. Can you see that far through
That
it?
far? Seems decent, right?
Page 122. There you go.
Oh, you're into it. Yeah.
Yes.
Solid.
And
You're into
I'm
it.
enjoying it. It's a fun read. He may be the replacement that I need for Terry Pratchett.
Ooh, that is a big call, sir.
I know.
That is a big call.
I'd have to read more books.
We'll see how that stands in
Yeah.
5 years. If you're like, you know what, I'm not reading Discworld every year anymore. I'm now on to the Tom Holtz, and I'm reading all of them again and again.
Well,
We'll see. We'll see. Taste change. Time will tell.
So that's the thing and I've got the other 2, which are Who's Afraid of Beowulf and Flying Dutch.
I know at least one person.
And Flying Dutch.
Okay. Sure.
So that's what's going on there.
I like it.
Oh, and I also have to explain because it's tangentially related to this. I bought these Amazon. I had these on my Amazon wish list, right?
Sure.
Which means that about 2 weeks ago, Amazon sent me a little note that said, "Hey, guess what? These 3 books you have on your wish list have suddenly dropped to $2 each."
How can you say no to that?
And I thought, well, there's no way. There's no way I can say no to that. And
That's how they get you.
so I did
Just throw
not
your
say
nose.
no to that. And I noted that these were not sold by Amazon. These were sold by a seller in Florida. World
Okay.
World of Books. In Florida. You may recall, if you're any good at geography, that Florida is a southern portion of the United States. It's the sticky out bit.
Far away.
If this is the U.S., this is Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if I recall, all those who live in Florida would like nothing more than to just clip themselves off and go hanging with Hawaii.
Well, it's more like that's what we would like to do to them. But anyhow,
Right. Depends who's telling this, I guess. Yes, that's always the case.
let us not offend the Floridians. There's no telling what they might blow up.
They do
So,
have the rockets.
You can
Definitely
imagine
got the
my
rockets.
surprise when about a week later, I received one of those reinforced paper packages. You know, it's kind of plasticized paper, sort of. And it-
Sort of making it kind of waterproof, but not really, but
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
And on it was some greenish writing
Sure.
that said, and you'll have to forgive my French because I don't have any French. Pour avion. Royal Mail.
Okay. Okay.
The
Sure. I'm with you.
the customs form stuck to the
You always
outside
know
of the
you're like,
package.
I ordered it from where? When you get a customs form.
Yeah, it turns out that apparently World of Books is nowhere close to Florida.
Courtesy of Florida.
It's in England, possibly on the coast. I don't remember where I said it was now. I'm sure it was.
That's on the same latitude, right? Like,
No,
we're in the same no, it's not. Not even close.
not even close, man. It's let me see here.
Oh, jeez.
I can look this up. You watch. I'll get
You
there.
should. You should. I'm now curious. Maybe they just got confused with.
World
No.
of Books is in
Not Closeville. Courtesy of Farsville. Redirected from nowhere the hell near Heresville.
yeah. It's in England. Contact us. There's a good way to do it. Oh yes, here we go. You ready for this?
Yeah, let's go.
Mulberry House, Woods Way, Goring by Sea, West Sussex.
It's not even a major city. It's just it's in the burbs.
So there you go.
Oh, wow.
Apparently they have a little, like a post box or something they do business out of in Florida. I don't know.
Yep.
All I
Probably
know-
one dude checks it once a week and just redistributes it as it comes in.
Now, see, I'm a patient person. And being a patient person, that means one thing. I don't pay for shipping if I don't have to.
Pretty much. Yeah.
If I can wait 7 to 9 business days, I wait 7 to 9 business days, whatever it is.
Yep.
So they sent that over at £2 for 3 books
It's not bad.
for no money.
Not bad. That is not bad, sir. Not bad at all. I'd take that.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for free shipping because anything I ship from anywhere always gets slugged with a lot of shipping. I don't
right.
understand why.
Right.
Almost as if the ship actually has to go a distance or something.
Well, if
But
they
my
give them
favourite
swimming
line-
lessons.
Well, it's true. So we can meet them halfway. Gee, that's a better idea. You could save on shipping. No, I don't want to save that much on shipping. Book depository. no shipping, even to the little island down in the south of the globe. So I order any books I'm going to order. I pretty much order from there if they stock them, because free shipping. Now it takes a while, but I don't care because I'm not paying for shipping.
Right. Right.
So, because otherwise you get like like Amazon or someone. It's just like, yeah, you can buy this $5 item at $17 for shipping, and I'm like,
Right.
but
At some
that
point,
makes
that just
it
doesn't
not
work
$5.
anymore. Yeah, that just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it's like this item that was reasonably priced is no longer reasonably priced, even a little bit.
Yeah. Basically, Australia has to do everything itself or just forget it. Because they'll
Pretty
get
much.
killed on the shipping.
Yeah, which is interesting because we've recently decided to give the flick to all of our car industry. We're just like, we don't need it. They're just like, we're gone, we're leaving, you're not helping us, so we're out. And we're like, all right, see ya. So we're not making cars here anymore. So which means all of them are going to be imported. That won't have a bad outcome, will it?
That'll be great.
That'll be something.
You have some fairly well-known brands down there, though. I mean, within Australia itself. Is
We
Holden
had,
is Holden one of yours, or is that
Holden
England?
was manufacturing here. Ford was manufacturing here.
Well.
Toyota was manufacturing here. Just some small little car names you may have heard of somewhere
Right.
along the line.
Right.
They're all leaving. They're gone. Next 3 to 4 years, they're all gone. Gone. Leaving.
Wow.
Out of here. Thanks for playing.
Brilliant.
Yes. So that's going to be a thing. That's going to be a thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of been my thing that I've been up to.
Nice. Just a few.
In terms of entertainments and diversions. It's not the only thing I've been up to, though.
Oh. It's also
On behalf of the Mad Adventurers Society, these people down here, you see.
Oh, those ones?
Yes, those ones.
Not those.
I have been hard at work on a couple of projects that I am going to talk about now.
You should, because they're like good or something.
The first one, for those who don't know, and I don't think there's anybody in chat who wouldn't know, is called Transit.
Yes.
It is an RPG in which
I still vaguely remember the first conversation we had about transit.
right, in which people play the artificial intelligence inside large space-going capital ships.
Still a cool idea. I still like it. Still cool. Veloster has not worn off.
We are approaching a alpha test of the basic systems involved in the first week or so of October. It might be a little bit later than that, but it'll be right around there.
Nice.
That will go out to our Patreon supporters
Nice.
for them to peruse, and assuming we get enough interest from there that we can run a reasonably thorough play test with that will be that'll be all we do. Will be that to the patrons.
Nice.
If we don't get enough interest, then we might open it out to certain select individuals to try out and tinker with and complain about, kind of thing.
Yes. But the patrons will get it first because
Right.
they actually give us money. So,
Right, exactly. So, things to know about transit. First off, if you want to catch up with everything we've had to say about it so far, it's hashtag TransitRPG on Twitter. Okay, so that's just an easy way. We tease little things out here and there. We're building it on kind of our own version of the Apocalypse World Dungeon World rule set.
nice.
It's a more narrative rule set, but it has crunchy bits in it.
As you'd expect, you're a giant ship. You've got stats.
Right. Exactly. It's heavily modified Apocalypse World, Dungeon World stuff. Heavily modified at this point. The core mechanics are the same, but we've added stuff to it. It's
You get better.
yeah. A lot of this is probably going to change as we test and develop things some more. So I want to be careful that I don't overpromise anything in the model of something else that may have come out recently.
But, well, there is that.
or alternately underpromise. Like something else that came out recently. Hidden Sons? Forbidden Sons? Okay. Anyway.
Too soon? Nah, it's not too soon. It's fine.
So what I will say is this: we have systems in place that will allow you to do things like mix and match your AIs and ship types.
Mm-hmm.
So your character creation is essentially you get an AI, and then you can pick a ship hole to stick it in. Okay.
Makes sense.
And that can change depending on certain factors. And then rather than having like a totally pre-programmed character like a lot of the Dungeon World stuff is and the Apocalypse World stuff is, rather than doing that, we're allowing you to load out your ship in whatever way you see fit. So guns and shields and armors and engine improvements and stuff like that. There will be limits to all this kind of stuff, but we're setting up a system whereby you can do that. We are also going to make use of crew as a resource. So you have a certain amount of crew that your ship can or requires or uses, and then you will spend that crew sort of
So what you're saying
to accomplish missions.
Is that there's a little furnace down the back, and when you feel like things are going a little slow, you just get your little robot people to just start throwing them in the furnace. That little,
they're not robot people. They're actual people.
No. You get the robot people to throw the actual people in because the robot people don't burn properly in the furnace.
Right. So the idea is that this combination of things, and I mean, there's like skills and abilities and moves, which in is what they're called in Dungeon World and Apocalypse World. They're kind of like feats, but not exactly. All right.
Cool.
So you will be flying in control of your massive spaceship while you try to complete a variety of different missions.
Cool.
We're tinkering with what we think is a fairly interesting mission building system. Because we think one of the we know that the hardest part of actually playing an RPG is the GM's job to sit down and design the adventure. All right, or at least read through the book for the adventure. We want to simplify that quite a bit. And so we've got what we think is going to be a modular system of adventure design.
Okay.
We haven't ironed out all the details yet. That's not going to be part of the alpha test yet, but it will get there eventually.
Nice.
So basically, we've been messing around with that. We are rapidly closing on the end of the month and the 1st of October, and we hope to have some stuff out. We'll probably test first the basic combat system, and the basic character building system. And that will be like the first month's test. And then as months go by and we get feedback and whatnot, we will update the rules and add another little bit for people to test. So we kind of have this ongoing rolling test. That's why we're calling it an alpha test. You know, so you get a little bit each time, and you test that. Once you're familiar with the first bit that we sent, the second bit will come. And now that you're familiar, it'll be much easier to test, and the third bit and the fourth. You know, we'll kind of do it that way.
Cool.
We're hoping it turns out to be fun and enjoyable and something that people will have a good time with.
Makes sense.
We don't know exactly what we intend to do with it once we've got through all of the alpha testing. I mean, of course, we'll go into a beta test. You know, but I think the beta test will just become like the tail end of the alpha test, because by then you will have all the bits and you'll be testing the whole system as you go.
Yeah. To come out with some semblance of a quote-unquote finished product.
Right. And the difficulty comes in with what do we intend to do with the finished product after that point?
Well...
And my answer is, I don't know.
I can see a few options.
Right.
and a lot of them lead to major conventions and you sitting at a booth trying to explain to people you don't like how to run this game properly. So that'll be fun. That could be a thing. You could bypass that completely. Who knows? So many choices. So many choices.
Yeah, I don't like that option.
You mean I don't want to deal with the public? No way.
No, I don't want to do that
directly.
So that's a thing that will be going on over the next few months at least. I hope people will like it. It's already tickled me to death. I mean, it's just like, you know, there's lots of good stuff in there that I'm enjoying tweaking and coming up with, and the fun part is sometimes I will just make crap up out of the top of my head. Oh, I wanted to do this, and the other two guys, Seamus Connolly and Conneely, excuse me, and well, he goes by Bally Coyote on the Twitters. The other two guys will, oh yeah, we can make that work. And then they'll just go off and do whatever it is I just made up.
Perfect. That's what you want. You know? That's what you want. What other crazy shit? Just, yeah, we can do that. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd want to do that, but we can do it.
It's just paper and ink.
That's right. It's not like we can't delete it. God damn, I'm going to delete all this now.
Right. But
no, that's right. It's fine as long as you do that now. That's fine. Just don't be doing that in the beta testing, because that's when people get upset.
Yeah, that's when things get weird.
You want to change what?
I mean, we're fully aware we're going to have to.
Are you stoned?
We're fully aware we're going to have to tweak things a lot, probably, because a lot of this is just, well, it'd be cool if it did this, and then they go off and they write that, and we don't know whether that works or not yet, because we haven't actually played anything at this point.
Of course.
It's been a lot of writing, a lot of creation, and a lot of getting things, you know, lined up and put together for the alpha.
Nice.
And so actual playing it is not on the calendar yet. I imagine it will be as we go along, but right now it's just enough to get everything together and get it out where people can look at it and say, oh yeah, this seems cool. You know, we'll keep working on it. That kind of stuff. But it's going to take a number of play tests to get through it, and a number of people to look it over to say, oh yeah, this is what we want to do, or what we don't want to do, or whatever. And once that process is done, I mean, it's like you've got to think about things like editing, because you don't edit yourself. You never do that. That is bad.
It's bad because your brain autocorrects your own mistakes.
Yep. You develop a blind spot that you cannot see, which is why it's called a blind spot.
Oddly enough.
Anyway, So editing has to happen. Layout has to, even if we just give it away for free, those two things have to happen. So that money has to come from somewhere, and I don't know where that is yet.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think as interest is drummed up through certain alpha testings, and people's like, yeah, we want this to be a thing, then things like that kind of sort themselves out sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. If you're lucky.
Sometimes, not all the time.
If you're lucky. But yeah, just getting that. Maybe we want some art. I draw like a third grader, so you don't want my art.
Yes. Neither I nor Brian have anything to do with the artwork on said T-shirts that some people have acquired.
No.
Just in case you're under any misconceptions. Yep. Not us. Other people have spent a lifetime honing said skills.
Right.
And we do not have enough lifetime yet left to actually
I don't,
develop such skills.
The thing is, I will do certain things myself if I have to. I can force a layout. It won't be great, but it will be, better than just a big sheaf of papers with,
Sure. Well, hey, you're looking at a layout right now. That is a layout.
Let's not advertise that too heavily.
And the person who created that is here with me now.
Yeah, let's not rely on that too heavily. Anyway, right.
Black screen.
Right. So yeah, and so if I need to do layout myself, I will do layout myself. But at that point, that's not a professional product. And I don't even know if we want to do a professional product. If there's going to be enough at this stage, I don't know if there's going to be enough interest for a professional product. I mean, to judge by the number of people that have bailed on the Patreon since I announced this, no.
Well,
But anyway, yeah. So I mean, I know somebody out
it's
there.
different when there's an actual product there, though.
Yeah.
Once there's a product there, people's mind change. They don't want to be signing up for things that don't currently exist. But once a thing exists, then that's that can sometimes be a different story.
And I know a bunch of people are going to jump up and Kickstarter. I hate Kickstarter.
But you could be the first person to ever use Kickstarter correctly. You could start a new trend. People would be like, holy shit, we never realized we could actually just use Kickstarter to like make a product and not dick around with like prizes like a lucky dip or whatever bullshit other people do.
Well, now see, that's not. I wouldn't be the first because David Floor, who did the Kickstarter, it was like, oh, where's the stretch goals? There's no stretch goals. I just want to get it made. I know how much it's going to cost me.
Goal. The more you pledge, the faster I go. It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's simple physics.
Yeah, it's like I just want to get it made. I don't want to provide special pencils to people. I'm not gonna come shine your shoes. There's no potato salad involved. It's just I want to make the thing and have it be made, and not screw around with all the other stuff.
In fact, I forgot who actually did it, but someone did like a funding drive thing where one of the rewards was that they would go on Twitter, go into your Twitter feed and give you a roast and basically curse you out and make a big hoo-ha fake. And I was like, that's fantastic.
Why would you ever do that?
There's the sort of things you could possibly do.
I mean, if it was going to be a Kickstarter, it would be it would be very similar to the way we do the Patreon, which is, okay, $1 gets you everything. everything. That's right. You want to give us some more? That'd be great. Everything such as it is. And if you want to pay extra, well then, and really it was like people who wanted to pay extra. It was like, okay, here's $20 level. Here's what we can do. Your name on the shows. There you go.
There you go. Hope that's enough. We don't got anything else.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that it would be about that simple. It's like, okay, what does it cost to make or what does it cost to sell the thing so that we cover the costs? Okay, that's what the Patreon entry level is. Done. Or the Kickstarter entry level is. Done. None of them. No, I'm sorry. None of them stupid $1. Oh, thanks for the help things. Either you want the product or you don't want the product. If you want the product, here's the product's price.
This is what it takes to get this made. And
That's what you
all
pay.
we're asking for.
Yes. There's one version. There's no leatherette. We're not doing a steel case series. There's no figures to go with it.
But I need a D20 with Brian's head on the one. That's what I need.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Dude, no, that's something I need. I definitely need that.
Anyway.
Just be at the table. Shit, I got a Brian. God damn it.
Anyway. So that's what's going on with Transit. The other project that has been, when I'm not editing for money, which has been going pretty well.
Essential, but sure.
Yeah, it's been going pretty well. That has, by the way. Actually, I've been pretty solidly working for the last month, so there's, that's okay. It's freelance, so that can stop at any moment for any reason.
Sure. But while it lasts.
Yeah, while it lasts, it's going pretty good.
Pretty good.
So the other project I'm working on with Leslie, who you may know from the Stories of the Fifth Age podcast. Now she has tertiary co-host duties.
Oh.
And we are working on a sort of fantasy drama sort of comedy audio production.
Nice.
It is. I don't want to give too much away on this because there are of course certain surprises involved in it. But basically, it's the story of a small village on the outskirts of civilization and things that happen there. And it's sort of a semi-traditional fantasy setting with not very traditional characters. I mean,
non-traditional characters, sure.
I mean, we're not already. There's no paladin. There's no fighter. There's no thief. There's no bard. There's no cleric. There's none of that stuff.
How can you play RPGs without a bard to rag on? Like, honestly. Just saying.
But anyway, so it looks like it's going to be 10 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a half an hour at the outside per episode. Probably much closer to 20 minutes per episode.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. This could be
yes. So it's kind of semi-traditional medieval time period. The usual D&D sort of thing, kind of.
Sure.
Mostly.
Cool. Mostly.
Anyway, it's going to be 10 episodes, about 20 minutes an episode or so.
Nice.
But we're still writing the episodes. We've got 4 of them now.
Cool.
4 of them, yes. We're working on the 5th. We're looking as near as I can figure. Now, keep in mind, writing them and then getting them produced.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole separate phase. So I'm thinking we might be able to get them all 10 of them written by January. I hope.
That's a reasonable time frame.
I hope. Leslie will inform me of whether that's possible or not.
Yeah, we can do that.
And then after that point, we're going to start casting for the characters. And then after that, we will start the production of said episodes with recording and things and whatnots and stuffs. So
that'll be a thing.
Yeah, as we get closer to the change from writing to casting and production, we'll catch up on all that stuff.
Nice. Should be good.
Now,
Should be good.
That's what I got going on. It's not like I'm just sitting here doing nothing.
That's right. Not like some of us that are sitting here doing very little.
Right. And at some point I need to put this to use. This is an audio recorder, portable audio recorder that, it's very nice. It's got little XLR inputs on the bottoms. It's got the microphones on the tops. It's got all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
That needs to get put to use
Yes.
in a variety of ways. I have a package coming that's got some more stuff that I need for that.
Cool.
We should take some questions from the audience.
Oh, they have questions. How could they possibly have questions? We've clearly answered everything.
I don't think we have.
Well, probably not.
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have at all. No.
I don't think we
But
have.
you'll have to wait a moment for the
Oh,
questions.
I know,
Because
yes.
I believe the stream is a
They
little,
type
a little delay.
they type very slowly. It's very
do.
slow.
It's it's not even two finger. It's just one.
I'm convinced at least one of them types with their nose. Bang.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
Okay. Not there's anything wrong.
Nothing
with that.
wrong with that. If that's what you have to do to get
We
by.
do not make judgments here at the Mad Adventures Society.
Okay, so. Okay, we got jokes coming in. We have
Oh,
jokes
elbows.
about typing with elbows. That's
Nice,
a thing.
Nice.
But we have no actual question. Apparently, we have satisfied the curiosity of every possible listener.
Not possible.
No, I'm telling you, we must have done.
Improbable.
We must have done.
Improbable. Well, I've got a question for you, sir.
Yes.
I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I read a book, and this goes back to the
Did
Transit
you?
RPG.
Did you
I
read?
read a book.
Did you read a book, or
Many-
did you have it read to you?
Okay, I had it read to me.
That's what I thought.
I had it read to me, and I can't quite remember the name of it. Probably because I had it read to me. And normally when you read a book, you
Right.
always see the front cover before you open it. Listening to it, I never got the front, so I don't remember the name. But it was a spacey type, adventure-y type thing, and the little humans of Earth were just sort of branching out into the solar system, and they'd recently come across technology to have AIs, which they were buying off some other aliens, and they didn't really know what they were doing all that well. And one of the AIs that they set up to manage basically traffic control within the system, they'd sort of not realized that by setting up that particular AI, that AI was getting more and more anally retentive with how precise all the ships had to be. Now, of course, all the ships were flown by humans, and for a human, plus or minus a few meters either side, they don't really give a shit. But for an AI, that was just getting more and more in the coding on his nerve to the point that he was getting close to homicidal. And they were quick to realize that this was a thing that need to be careful of with other AIs, that if you make an AI too specialized and too specific on a certain task, they can get almost neurotic in trying to complete that task. You actually
2001?
need to almost rotate them.
2001?
Exactly. Exactly. Another good example. And I was just thinking, this Transit RPG, got any sort of thoughts or mechanics that might be in there for people who might play their AI a certain way so consistently and so repeatably that it actually causes the AI to go a little too far down that road, so that they can cause us interesting problems as a result.
I declined to comment on the grounds of maybe giving something away.
Oh, okay. I think there's your answer, folks. Enjoy it.
All right.
Hope you enjoyed it. There you go. Sammy shooting from the hip has landed a mark.
Okay, so we have
any real questions?
We do
Any
have
real
a couple.
questions?
I think is this
Discworld.
is this oh Logan is asking, I think Logan is asking about Discworld GURPS.
Oh,
I think that's what his question relates to.
Never played it.
So, here's the thing. I like Discworld. As I may have mentioned it through the course of this podcast somewhere, I like Discworld.
Likes it.
And I have the only problem I can see with Discworld GURPS is the GURPS part. And not because the GURPS system is bad necessarily, although I have feelings about that. But it's because GURPS, which stands for Generic Universal Role-Playing System, it's because GURPS comes from Steve Jackson Games. Home of all things Munchkin.
Yeah.
Home of all things Munchkin.
How many versions of Munchkin are there now?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
480.
And I know that if I give money to Discworld GURPS, it's not going to go to continue producing Discworld GURPS items. It's going to go to producing more Munchkin. In fact, I dread the day they announce Discworld Munchkin.
It'll happen. Don't worry, it'll happen. So the question is, do you really need a specific system for Discworld?
No.
In which case,
unless you are completely incapable of understanding any given system that you're playing in and how the mechanics work in it.
So perhaps instead just pick your favorite fantasy RPG system and play Discworld with it.
You could conceivably do it that way. Some I wouldn't try it with. I wouldn't necessarily try it with like the Dragon Age system or.
Ooh, no.
Or
no.
Or things like that.
Oh no.
If your system is geared towards grimdark, maybe don't try Discworld in it.
It's the wrong tone, shall we say.
If it's geared more towards just generic sort of fantasy, like D&D's about the right weight, you can go lighter. If you really wanted to, you could Discworld Fate. I wouldn't. Because Fate's way too open-ended, and Discworld is not really... Discworld... It is by its own nature pretty open-ended itself, and I would think if you put open-ended on top of open-ended, you get crazy, not good crazy, just crazy.
You're gonna loop back around the edge of the universe, and you're gonna get real confused when it happens. So
right. So
I feel like Discworld would be amazing in a theme park type RPG.
I mean,
where you just in a little chunk, and you don't really go. Just a very focused theme park of an RPG setting. I feel like that would be a Discworld kind of literally set it in a book. Like pick a book that you like and just.
Oh sure, yeah, you can totally do that. But I mean, I've run. I mean, to a certain extent, all my RPGs have an element of Discworld in them.
Oh yes.
I mean, the Grim we did, that was very, people tend to react like people rather than characters. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's like...
Yes. Oddly enough.
So, cool. Yeah, you can run, as long as you're familiar with the books and the setting and you've got it in your head, you can run Discworld in anything. GURPS just sticks that thing in there and throws some numbers at everything and says, okay, these are the numbers that work in GURPS. That's what that does. Yeah. Okay, and it's not just a Discworld thing. That's everything GURPS. It says these are what the numbers are to do the things we do.
Yeah. It's like Star Wars GURPS. It's like, okay.
Never.
Okay.
Never suggest that ever again. Never ever suggest that again.
Ever.
There will be murders committed.
All
All right, so
Let's see.
that I think that answers the question.
Yes.
Um,
Eric's got a question.
Eric the General. Eric, we have to remember he's Eric the General.
Journal.
One of our $20 supporters on the Mad Adventure Society Patreon.
Tell me what's right.
How do you deal with players who don't want the spotlight at the table? Why are they at the table? Are they just there for the ride?
Maybe they are. Maybe that's how they find enjoyment. You know, the soul in the group of friends who just basically sits on the outskirts and just enjoys being part of the group but never actually wants to be noticed.
Right, so they're a henchman.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? Maybe they can play for henchmen.
They're the henchmen. Because the general presumption of any RPG you play is that among the players who are playing it, is that they will engage in the story, they will take an interest in what is going on, and they will attempt to affect things around them with their characters.
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of the basic buy-in. There's a couple other bits, but those are the ones we worry about. Okay? If somebody is at your table and they are not buying in like that, whether it's because they're shy or they're just uninterested or they just don't care or whatever, then they shouldn't really be main characters. Because the story is not about them. If they choose not to affect the story and not to affect change in the world, then the story is not about them. If they want to be and see, here's what Eric is saying is they only want to be supporting characters. So that's fine. Let them be supporting characters.
Yeah.
Let
them literally be the GM's helper.
Yeah. Have them play some of your NPCs.
Yeah. Especially if they can do any kind of voices better than you. Yeah, just set them up and just say, look, here's where I want the story to go. This is kind of how this character works. For the next 15 minutes, you're this character. Go for it.
Yeah.
Done.
You can attach them to the group of PCs as a henchman or, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Like somebody who's there, who's in the background. Okay? Doesn't have a major role, doesn't have to make any big decisions or anything like that, but is just there to assist the PCs in small ways,
leading them down the right path.
Because as soon as they take any more interest than that, they become a main character.
Which is probably kind of what you want eventually. You may actually find that they latch on to a certain NPC and they start saying, oh, well, maybe I can see where you're going with the story here. Maybe we can bring this NPC back in, and you're like, the one you've already brought in 20 times before, and like, yeah, that one. Maybe we bring him back in, and then he can do this, this, and this. And at that point, you sort of start going, would you like to play this character? Shall I attach this character to the group for a while? And they're like, yeah, attach him to the group. And I'm like, all right, you've been with the group for 4 sessions, playing the same character. We're just going to scratch out the N off that character sheet you've got, and there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Like Sammy was saying, make them play some of the NPCs. If they're just really, if they're just there to hang out with the group, and kind of be with their friends, the players. Don't force them to play.
Or if you're not going to attach them one of your NPCs because you don't want them futzing with your story, then make them another PC's lackey. If they're the quiet one in the group and they're not really the one that stands out, most likely they will probably attach themselves at the hip to one of the other people in the group, because that's kind of just how groups kind of work, and those kind of people tend to latch on to one person in particular. So just make them a lackey of the person that they naturally feed off. And that person won't mind because that's the normal situation anyway. So if the main person's playing a big old paladin, well then maybe they've got a squire. And maybe that squire really doesn't engage a whole lot with anything, but is there and occasionally contributes, but otherwise is along for the ride.
2 words for you. Comedy relief.
There you go. He's fixed it. He's fixed your problem. Bang. Done. 2 words.
Just let them be comedy relief. You know, they're like the guy who shuffles the baggage around and then has comments occasionally.
That's right. The guy who is completely oblivious to the fact that the guy standing in the big black armor is quite evil and has just run behind him and accidentally tripped him up, and the big bad goes sprawling. That kind of stuff sells itself.
Sure. So basically, you would just say, all right, you can be this side character, but you have to understand that you're not combat. You're not You're not the negotiator. You're not the guy who's affecting the story. Okay? If you don't want to be the guy who's affecting the story, if you want to be a main PC, then you have to agree that you take a back seat to all the main PCs. Yes. They drive the action. They make the big decisions, etc., etc., etc. You are there in a secondary position, which is fine if that's, if we can agree to that, that's great, not a problem.
And
just do it that way.
And you should probably actually bring that into the rules as well. And it's like, you're not going to roll for initiative. You're actually going to go on this character's initiative turn after he's acted. You're just going to tell me what your supplementary action to his is. That's all you're doing.
Yep.
Because as soon as you give someone an initiative, that gives them the spotlight. Because nobody else can act until they've done something. So by definition, you don't want to do that to them if it's not what they want. So you're like, no, you don't get your own turn. You're going with this person. So yes, you'll have to think about a few of those things, which will vary depending on the system you're playing in.
And they may discover they don't really like that. That's not what they want to do. And that's the point at which you go, okay, then you have a decision to make.
Yes.
Do you want to engage or do you want to just not play?
That's right. Because look, you can have player characters who are the ever classic stoic silent types. There's room for those in the group, but they still do stuff and they still make decisions, and that's fine. And some of them defer to other characters. Always, that's part of their character, is that they are a follower. That's fine, but they're still a proper full character. So yeah, that's. You'll have to feel that one out. Feel that one out, shall we say?
Yep. Hopefully that has given you something to look at or think about. Somebody asked me if I have ever read Stanislav Lem, and to my knowledge I have not, but I just wanted to double check and make sure that I don't recognize any of his titles.
Not ringing a bell. Not ringing a bell. No.
Oh no. I might have read Gollum 14. Or Golem 14. That seems familiar to me. Because it was really, it was one of them science fiction novels you got in the mid 70s.
Oh yeah.
Where I don't think the point was really to be a science fiction novel. The point was to be adult entertainment in an acceptable form.
Right.
Okay,
right.
You with me?
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you. Yep.
Yeah.
I hate running into those books when I want a sci-fi, and then I realize what I'm reading, and I'm like, really? Just makes me sad.
Yeah. I probably have not read a lot of the right kind of Stanislav Lem.
Yes. Yes.
Let me see here.
Don't disguise not sci-fi as sci-fi. That's just...
Yeah.
It's a community service announcement. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Okay. Answered that. What just happened there? I don't know. Right. Okay. I think that's it, unless anybody else has any more questions. We shall have to wrap up, I think. So, thank you, everybody, for tuning in whenever you watch this in your own time-displaced frame of reference. Thank you to those who came live to the chat. We appreciate it.
Always welcome in the chat. Love the chat.
Yeah. We do these primarily for the people of the Mad Adventurers Society, which is located at www.madadventures.com. If you would like to check things out there, we have a number of podcasts and articles. We have a new writer. That's right. We have a new writer starting Monday.
Very nice.
More
Very nice.
adventure-y stuff. He's going to be putting in some adventure hints and prompts and ideas for people to check out and make use of however they would like to do. So that starts Monday. Anyway, that's Mad Adventures Society at madadventures.com. If you would like to, we don't absolutely insist on it, but if anything has appealed to you about this episode, or you particularly want to jump in on the Transit RPG alpha testing and whatnot, you can do that by becoming a patron. In addition, you'll be supporting the network and our writers and other podcasters from such shows as GM Word of the Week, Stories of the Fifth Age, and Delve. You can do so at Patreon by going to patreon.com/madadventurers. I believe that's all one word.
Sure.
And you can make a pledge for as little as $1 or as much as everything you've ever owned in your entire life, provided it can be electronically transferred.
Exactly. Minor.
If you do that, you will receive our undying gratitude and access to early episodes of some of our podcasts, as well as transcripts to GM Word of the Week. Plus, of course, you'll be able to get in on the alpha test of the Transit RPG, which is, I am told, brilliant. I think I told myself that, so it's probably true. It's close enough.
Perception is reality, so just stick with it, because then it will be brilliant.
There you go. I think, therefore I am.
Exactly.
Bang. Dead to rights. If you choose to go in at the $20 level, like Eric the General, Mysterious Mr. X, Nathan Ainsworth, and I'm not forgetting who I forgot last time, because without going into too much detail, that's not a valid answer anymore.
Sure.
Eric General, Nathan Ainsworth, Mysterious Mr. X. Okay, that's it. That's all the people there are ever. I'm totally forgetting somebody, and I should write these things down is what I should do. Writing things down would be good. Epoch Wolf.
Sure.
Epoch Wolf. How can I forget a name like that? There you go. Those are our 4 guys. We will. The other guys do a much better job of remembering them all than I do.
I think they write them down.
But they are thanked every podcast we do, with one exception, because that's a co-production between two different entities.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, every podcast they get mentioned and thanked, and that's what you get at the $20 level.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yep. And with that, ladies and gentlemen of chat and the internet, the YouTubes, the things with the stuff and the little ones and zeros flashing back and forth, thank you very much for joining us. We hope you had a good time. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.